and welcome to episode 42 of the Vegan Hour. And tonight, well actually, you know they say don't work with children and animals. Well, we've got half that equation happening tonight. But tonight I'm joined by Rich from the Vet Collective and Kelly from Sugarshine, who has brought along a couple of beautiful piglets, which aren't on camera at the moment, but let's just get a few of the events out of the road, and then we'll see how we're looking. Hopefully we're looking good here, if I can make things work all right. Okay, there we are. We are up and running. Excellent. Let's have a look at what's happening. First off, I want to mention that the Vegan Hour is sponsored by Vegan Frothers, and mentioning the pigs are attacking the camera. If you see the camera if you see everything go shaky or fall over, you'll know what's happening. We might be able to get them on screen shortly, I hope. So let's get the events out of the road, and then we'll get on to tonight's topic. So I'm going to show you guys this. This is a Vitamix. Why am I showing you that? Because coming up on Sunday, the 7th of January, is the second Froth Fest at the Miami Marquetta, starting at 12 p.m. And you can win that $1,400 Froth Fest just by buying tickets for, I think they're only $10 still. I have to check that one out, but I'll supply a link for that. Two other events I want to mention is that this Saturday, Vegan Isle, the Gold Coast's first vegan supermarket, has a Christmas cooking class at 5 p.m. and cost us $15. And this Sunday, the Brisbane Christmas vegan markets are on, starting at 9 a.m. at West End. Okay, so tonight we have two piglets, and we refer to them as rescue piglets, don't we? Yes. Yeah. Okay. We have Julian and Bello. Bello was originally named Bello. Now, can we actually get them on camera? These guys are like dogs, just following Kelly around. And
I'm just going to go and get Julian Boo first, because he's up to a little bit of mischief over here.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see what he. Okay, there we go. So who have we got here? We've got.
This is Julian.
Julian
Boo.
Julian Boo. Hello, Julian. You're beautiful.
He's very sleepy at the moment.
He does look very. He is very sleepy.
He's going to go to sleep any second now.
Oh my goodness! And how old's Julian?
We think Julian's probably left 10 days.
Hang on, the camera. We got the pig moving the camera.
Bella. So that's Bella's having a great time here. She's picking up things and throwing them around. She's a very playful pig, and she's causing a bit of mayhem here.
Oh my goodness! Oh, this is. Oh, I'm not even on camera. Oh my goodness! This was an interesting episode. This one. They photobombed you just before Brady says, "Oh my goodness." Okay, so oh, there we go. Are we falling asleep? Are we? Oh wow! The incredible thing with these guys is two things I've noticed straight away. Being introduced to these piglets tonight is that that's the first thing I noticed, is the beautiful grunting that they do, which is fantastic. And the second is that they're so much like pet dogs.
They really are. They love to follow you around. They love to play.
It's
fantastic. They love to have fun. They're just the most beautiful.
It is fantastic. It is really, really. I'm pleasantly surprised. But so sorry I got distracted there because the camera got attacked by a pig. But we've also got Pencil the dog down here too. It's a real, yeah. Oh, look at this. It's amazing. So how old were you saying, Julian?
We think Julian's probably only about maybe 2 weeks old, but probably a little bit less. He's very young.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, he's a little bit older when he came to us than Bella was.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's a very young little baby.
Mm. Now, Brady says Bello has grown.
Bello has grown so much. So she gained a kilo a week since he's been with us. But yeah, he's going to be a very big boy.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, what, 200, 300 kilos? Maybe?
Absolutely, yeah.
He won't be sitting on your lap.
No. We'll make the most of this beautiful time.
How long does it take for them to get to full?
I think it's between 2 to 3 years is when they're full.
Okay. So, and wow, he's thirsty.
Yeah, pigs really love their food.
There's a little bit of confusion because in referring to Bello as Bella, because originally it was thought that Bella was a girl.
Yeah.
And then when did you find out? Was it when?
Well, Sarah, who works with Rich,
came
came out and said, by the way, Bello is a boy.
Seeing as precious angel babies, Wiley says. Okay, now, seeing as Bello, I have to think every time I go to say Bello, seeing as Bello's story is more widely known,
Yeah.
I'd like to go back through Bello's story so people can find out. So, yeah, would you like to tell us a bit about how Bello came to be with us tonight?
I woke up a few weeks ago now, and I always check social media in the mornings, and I had a look, and this picture of this tiny piglet, very, very young, I saw on my screen.
Very content at the moment.
Very content, but back then she wasn't, and I just instantly burst into tears. And I'm not a person who cries a lot, but when I saw this picture, I was just so.
So this was a picture of Bello with the eye.
His skin, his skin had been ripped from his face, just leaving the eye without any eyelids or skin around his face, and it was just so absolutely shocking and distressing to see. So that was the first time I ever saw Bello.
And so, okay, so you woke to that, you saw that on social media, and then what happened
not
from
long
there?
after that, I got a phone call saying, we're bringing you this piglet, and it's got an injured face, and I knew exactly that it would be little Bella. So I got everything ready, and not long after that, Bella arrived. And she's so naughty, she's such a wriggler. And she arrived, and my heart sank as soon as I saw her. And I did a terrible thing. I said to the people who bought her, look, I don't think she's going to live. Like, he's going to live. I don't think he's going to make it. The injury is too huge.
Too severe,
for such a little baby. So they, of course, burst into tears, and then we all had a bit of a cry. But we said we'd give it a good go. And so we dressed the wound, gave him some pain relief, we gave him some antibiotics. And then we thought, well, what are we going to do? Like, we need to take him to a vet that's going to see that this is a beautiful, loving, valuable creature and not just a commodity. So I had met Rich once before, and I knew he was vegan, a vegan vet, one of those very rare things.
This is very rare. This is why I've invited Rich on the show tonight, because first time I've ever heard of a vegan vet.
Me too. And that's how I got to meet Rich. But that night, it was a Sunday, so we had I had Bella overnight, and she cried all night, even with the strong pain relief on. She was obviously in a lot of distress.
Poor thing.
Her face hurt so much.
If you want, she wants to get down. That's all right.
Her face hurt so much. She couldn't really drink because every time she was trying to suck on the bottle, it was just too painful for her.
Right.
So
So that was on the Sunday night. So you organised.
Well, the next morning we just started driving. As soon as we got up, we started driving up to Rich.
To see Rich,
And we called him midway through the drive, and we just said, look, this is what's happened. And they said, come on up. So we thought that we would get up there. Rich would maybe tell us how to do a dressing and book us in for surgery at his next surgery day. But that didn't happen. He and Sarah just took him straight in. Like, there was just instant compassion, and we just felt so relieved. He just went straight into surgery. And
now this is where I want you to continue the story, Rich.
Sure.
So I'm really amazed at, I mean, we can't see Bello at the moment. He's over there oinking and hiding under furniture. As long as he's not knocking the camera over, I'm happy. But okay, so what happened there? They arrived at the vet there. You took one look, and what did you decide?
Sure. So I guess, mate, a lot of people have seen the photos, and they're pretty drastic, damaging wounds that he had. And I guess the first thing that I noticed was that he had lost the eyelids to that eye. And without
you said eyelids plural. Is there actually more than one?
Just two like us.
Okay.
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom. Yes.
So some animals have a third. Cats and dogs.
Yes.
But these guys, no, these guys are like us. And so they were actually, for people who have seen that photo, they were part of that big skin flap that you could see.
Yes.
So something had come.
It looked pretty savage.
Yeah. Whatever it was it was traumatic, and it had taken all of that skin, including his eyelids, and taken it forward. So I said to Kelly, it's a pretty big decision to make, but I said it's his eye. Whatever state it's in right now, his eye's not going to survive without eyelids.
Right. Yeah.
So we made that serious decision, but didn't make it lightly.
Yep.
To take his eye out, because you're better off without an eye than with a painful eye.
Right. Okay.
That's the main thing. If I could have left it in and had it blind and healthy, that's fine.
Okay.
But he wasn't going to have a healthy eye.
Right.
So we made that decision, and basically the rest of it was then just trying to reconstruct that side of his face. So put that soft tissue back in a place where we could cover up all of the wound, get it all back together, and make it comfortable and functional.
I've got to say, I'm impressed with your work.
Thanks.
I mean, that's, really amazing. Really, really amazing what you've done. And I mean, he seems fine.
Oh man,
he seems fine. And he's grown so much since the photos that, I mean, I didn't get to see him in the flesh, so to speak, but the photos, he was so small.
So I think, I don't know what he would weigh now, he's got to be 9 kilos,
Yeah,
10 kilos, and I think he was...
It was 1.2 or
1.2 wasn't
1.3
the day we had it.
Yeah.
How many weeks ago was that? That was
maybe 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's gone from just over a kilo to 9 to 10 kilos now.
I reckon that's a guess, but he's pretty solid.
Yeah, he's solid, all right. And by the way, this is Pencil sitting here now, who is much better behaved.
Pencil's not supposed to be here. Pencil's sneaked in the car. I think the car driver's seat.
You didn't even know Pencil was there.
Not till halfway over.
Oh my goodness. We've had a few nice comments there, but all vets should be vegan, Anna says, and Rick says, so cool, how cool to see a vegan vet. And Judy says, beautiful Bella, and Rachel says, hi Kelly and Pencil. So is that a difficult operation to do, actually, you know, to remove an eye with all the nerves and whatever's connected behind it, you know?
It's fiddly.
Fiddly, I should imagine that's probably an understatement. It's a technical.
And then the soft tissue stuff after the eye is just kind of taking your time, and it's actually something I really enjoy is taking your time and just putting things back together and trying to make it as pretty as you can. I think we ended up.
You've done a good job.
What did we say? We put 22 stitches or something like that in. So and that was in the skin. So we put some deeper stitches in, holding everything together. So in terms of what we did, there was a fair bit of trauma underneath.
Yes.
And we took some dead tissue away.
Right.
There was actually some bone that had been influenced as well. We actually removed some loose shards of bone that were in there. Yeah. And part of what we did also is take the margins of his eyelids away.
Right.
Because eyelid margins, thankfully, are made not to heal together. Otherwise, we'd all be in trouble every morning. And so, because we wanted his to heal, I actually took the tiniest sliver of tissue away from each margin and stitched that together, which is why, and it makes me happy, that he looks like he just has a closed eye.
Yeah.
And that's because majority of that tissue is there. It's just closed over. So
with an operation like that, is there then a follow-up where you, I mean, I guess you have to monitor it and make sure that it's healing okay? Is that right?
And look, I guess with Kel being quite a distance away, we do a bit of stuff via texting photos back and forth and relaying information. When we saw, I got to see one of the Sugarshine goats a week and a bit later, early, and so I was chatting to the crew about, we'll deal with this eye, but how's Bello? You know? I hope you're okay.
Ashley says that Bella was a month old on the 4th. So that's what, yesterday, wasn't it, the 4th?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And apparently, and Wally says, classic Pencil, he stowed away in my car the other day. It sounds like he stows away in everyone's car. Now, Julian's been very well behaved.
Julian Boo is a real snuggler.
Snuggler.
Whereas Bello is more of an adventurer.
You're quite independent by the looks of it.
Well, he's actually very, very affectionate and very cuddly, but also very curious and at a very playful stage.
I love the oinking, the grunting. What's the term for it? Is it oinking, grunting? What do we call it? Is there a technical term?
Yeah, we call it oinking. But once you get to know pigs, you can really tell what each little oink means.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and so you can know they're scared or they're nervous or they want something or they're hungry or they're tired.
So what are we reading? What are we reading from Bello now? Just curiosity.
These noises are I'm a bit tired. I'm ready for a nap soon.
Okay.
Yeah. As you can see, just as I said, that she laid down. He laid down.
He laid down. You're still. I noticed you've gotten so used to thinking of him as a her that it's really, you've really got to work on correcting that. And now I noticed something here, Rich, also that you were putting your finger up to Julian's nose. Is that a way of
I was just trying to hold him, keep him.
Oh, I thought maybe it was just a way of calming him down or something.
No,
they do like that. They do a thing that we call snuzzling, which is it's not a technical term. It's just what we call nuzzling with their snout.
Oh yeah, okay.
So if a little pig's been taken away from their mum too early, they use it as a self-soothing thing, like a little baby sucking their thumb.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Now obviously there's a very I mean, as cute as they are, there's a very serious side to all this, which we want to get into as well. And I also want to find out about you being a vegan vet, because that is fantastic and something that I'm sure many people are curious to find out about.
Sure.
So maybe first we want to get into sort of the serious side of making the connection, which actually came up in a very good. Did you get to see the video that Joey did with?
Yep, I did.
Julian, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there when they were filming?
Amazing experience.
Yes.
People were quite emotional. The people that were talking.
I think we'll just give a bit of background to actually what happened there, because what it was that you were in a park in Bello with Julian and just showing people a live pig and then getting them to make the connection that this is what they're eating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were saying people were emotional.
Yeah, people became quite emotional. So Joey talked to a lot of people who eat meat, usually.
Yeah.
And the question he was asking is, when you see this little pig, do you feel hungry? And no one said yes. And
yes.
People, after we've been talking to them for a while, they said, look, I don't think I can eat pigs anymore. Now I've met this beautiful creature. And that's really important, because it's easy to have a disconnect from a creature that you've never met. Like when we've all met dogs and cats, and most people would never ever consider eating a dog or a cat.
No.
And so I think it's important that people do get to meet.
It's a very powerful way of because otherwise they don't get normal to see.
That's right, and it was it was at a beach also, and pigs absolutely love the beach. Oh, they love it.
Why is that? I've never seen a surfing pig.
No, it's not the water, it's the sand. They love playing in the sand.
Oh,
they play for hours.
Okay. We should have got you some sand, Bello. I'm sorry we didn't. And whatever you do, don't knock the camera again, please. I really did need I should have had my PA when she found out that it was going to be the pig was here, and I said, I'm coming along. She said, I'm coming along, I'm going to be there. And as it turned out, she couldn't make it, so otherwise she could have stood here and stopped the pigs from knocking the camera over. Now, Nicole says, amazing work, guys, saving these gorgeous little babies. Cutest vegan hour yet. Now, talking about, okay, so that side of it is obviously very powerful in getting people to make the connection. And people were actually emotional. Yeah. And they were actually saying, I won't be eating meat anymore.
Yeah, people
that is fantastic.
Yeah, it was truly, it was a truly amazing experience. And yeah, I mean, I would encourage anyone to be a part of that if they could. To meet a pig and to see how playful and how sociable and friendly they are.
It sounds like it's an extension of what is achieved in the Cube of Truth, where they're showing what's happening to the animals on the screens. Well, here it is going, well, here's this beautiful animal right in front of you, and it's like, how could you hurt this animal? Yeah. So that is fantastic. Now, the serious side of it, of course, is where these pigs come from. Yeah, and I really appreciate someone said that thank you for rescuing these pigs. I didn't actually rescue these pigs. 4 amazing women who I wish I could name. Yes, absolutely amazing people who I look up to so much rescued these pigs from a terrible
place.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if it were possible, I'm sure they would want to rescue all of them.
Oh, of course.
Because they're in a hellish condition that just shouldn't exist. There's just no logic behind it, except that people are addicted, in my opinion, are addicted to eating meat.
Yeah, and I think with that footage, one of the really hard things about knowing pigs really well, and I've been looking after quite a lot of pigs now for 4 years, is seeing the faces from the footage that the activists got of the mother pigs. And pigs are quite expressive in their eyes, as well as the sound that they make. And the mother pig's eyes were just traumatized. This is no exaggeration. It was heartrending. They were distressed.
Okay.
And that was gut-wrenching to see.
Yes. Yes.
So what these people who go in and get footage like this, the 4 women and the other people who are doing this as well, they deserve medals because they're showing people something that probably most people don't want to see. I mean, I would prefer never to see this, but I know how powerful it is. Yeah,
they are. Somebody referred to them as modern day heroes.
They truly are.
Which I think they are. But in that respect, I'd also like to acknowledge that you're a modern day hero for providing a sanctuary for these, and you're a modern day hero for saving the eyesight of Bello, who's off camera, but maybe will appear again a little bit later. But we've got Julian here, so you still get to see. I mean, I've never been close to small pigs. I've been to the I was trying to think on the north side of Brisbane. Why can't I think of the name? Farm Animal Rescue, yes, thank you.
Awesome place.
And awesome place. And of course, the pigs are huge. But to see this characteristic in them, the way that their behaviour when they're young and small, it's just really, it struck me. It's just hit me nicely here.
That's so good to hear.
So I want to, I want to acknowledge that it is an amazing thing that people are doing by really risking a lot to bring awareness to what is going on, to what is termed an animal holocaust.
I know, I mean, we know how distressing it is for us to see those pictures. Imagine what it's like to be in there with the sounds, the smells, and being face to face with the animals in that situation. I can't. And
there's quite a few brave souls that are actually, it seems maybe in the last year, there's been a real big increase in brave souls going into these environments, and because, you know, a lot of us just say enough is enough. You know, what's it going to take to, you know, to sort of awaken humanity? So if that's what it takes, brave souls going in there and risking, you know, things to create awareness, then that's what, and in the process being able to actually liberate or rescue some of these beautiful it's beautiful animals. So Rich, I've had you sitting there very quietly.
I'm happy, mate. I'm content.
Yes, both you and Julian very content. Yeah. Both a nice connection happening there. Is this the first time you've met Julian?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's amazing. Yeah. So so let's find out a little bit about maybe your journey as a vegan vet. I was very curious. We were talking a little bit before the live stream, and I was very curious if you can share with people your experience from when you decided to become a vet.
Sure. Yeah, mate. Well, I went straight from high school in Brisbane to vet school at St Lucia, University of Queensland, and then part of vet school is doing practical work. So early days is farm animal stuff. So you go into intensive and extensive husbandry systems and seeing how these systems operate. Later down the track, you end up doing veterinary stuff. But so midway through second year, so 18 months into 5 years, this all happens in your uni holidays,
right,
which are pretty ample. So,
yeah.
So I had to go and do some prac work, and I told you before I was a pretty lazy student, so I ended up at the uni piggery, which was the easiest place to get to, out of Gatton, and I spent a day there, one full day there, and decided that if that was what constituted being a vet, I was out.
And you were wanting to quit at that point.
Yeah, that's right, mate. I was living at home, and I went home to mum and dad and said, "I quit.
Wow.
I'm out."
Wow. That was, and you've been doing the course for 18 months at that point.
Yep.
Wow. So what did you see there? What was it that?
Sure. It was, yeah, mate.
This is a piggery at a university.
That's right.
At Gatton.
Which so I assume, you know, that's the only piggery that I've had first-hand experience with.
Yeah.
I assume it's probably
worse.
The better end of them.
Yes,
it probably is worse.
in the other piggeries.
And I didn't see anything specifically traumatic like Bella's situation. I didn't witness any events. It was just the fact that all of these animals were being kept in this situation that they didn't have any of the freedoms to do normal things, and they couldn't be happy.
Yeah.
I knew it straight away. There's no way those animals can be happy. That's not what they're meant to be doing. They wouldn't choose to be there.
That well said.
Yeah.
So it'd be fair to say that what you saw was just pure exploitation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that kind of, for me, is on a behavioural level. I often ask myself, what would this animal be choosing to do?
Yeah. And
then beyond that, to think emotional state behind that. And I mean, you don't get very far in that situation. So yes. It's made it just did my head in it. So
here you were, you're 18 months into your course.
Yep.
You've gone to piggery, you've seen the conditions that they're under, and you're like, no, this is not what I signed up for, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the conditions that I'm interested in being involved in.
Absolutely.
So but you're a vet now, so what happened?
Yeah, surprise. So someone sensible talked me into deferring rather than quitting, rather than spitting the dummy and running away. So I took a year off and I ended up going back. Okay. I never went back to that piggery. I never went back to any piggery. I found other ways to do prac work. Finished all of that. That was then the catalyst for me becoming initially veggie. So I was veggie for about 9 years, and now I've been vegan for 3. So.
And as you're talking, we've got a little pencil here wanting to jump up on Kelly's lap. So there's only so much space. And we've got. Oh my goodness! You've got both of them up. You've done well. A couple of comments have come in there. Rick says, we need a list of all vegan vets across the state. Surely there is more than one. Well, there is more than one.
There is. There absolutely is.
Your wife?
Yeah, she's one of them. Yep.
So there's 2. And actually, the link to the Vet Collective, which is at Miami here on the Gold Coast, it's linked at the top of this live stream. So if you want a vegan vet, Rich is your man.
Yeah, and that's a cool concept, because I know there are others. There are some guys.
There are others?
Did you know? Okay. That I know, not from my time as a vet, but there are a couple of guys that I knew at vet school. Yeah. That were actually vegan. Yeah. When I wasn't.
Before you were vegan.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So and they're, but you don't know where they've gone now.
They're around, but I can chase it up and I can talk to Rick and
excellent
and get a list going.
That's a lot of people would appreciate that very much. Yes. Luba says, thank you so much for helping these gorgeous angels. And Rick says, Miami. He's impressed that you're in Miami. He says, you have a new client. Yes, in fact, Rick, it gets better than that. At the start of the street that the Vet Collective is on is the greenhouse, and then you just drive down the end of the street, and there you are at the other end of it. So that's Mountain View Avenue. So you can't get much better than my favourite vegan restaurant at one end, and Rich down the other end. So that's awesome. The Vet Collective is open Monday to Friday?
Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday. Yep. Okay. Cool. 9 to 5, that sort of thing.
Yep. 9 to 5.
What about if somebody's got emergency?
Cool. So emergency stuff when I'm asleep in bed, I send them out. That's where
they let you sleep
sometimes. Not this time of year, storm season. My pets keep me awake. But that's actually where my better half comes in. She's out at the emergency out at Carrara. So those guys are open whenever we're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another important thing. If you've got an emergency case, how would people get in touch with Then what are they called?
They're called Animal Emergency Service.
Animal Emergency Service.
Yep, and
okay.
so
AES.
Yes, exactly. Yep,
Okay.
and so they're located at the same place as the specialist centre, and as an emergency facility, they're not run by appointment. If it's an emergency, you just rock up.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That place is always open.
Whoops, what happened there? Now, I want to read this comment. Yeah, I've just got to scroll across so I can see it. Sean says, Harry, haven't watched the Vegan Hour in a while, but great to see the sign behind you is no longer backlit. Yeah, well, I found a way of doing it the right way around during the live stream, so it involves some very technical details like a mirror all the way over there so I can see what's happening. But yes, I'm glad you noticed that. Love the work you guys do. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for that. And Rick loves the idea that he can get food at one end and a vet at the other end of the street. So it's a best combination. So it's looking like both these piglets are actually sort of settling into a nice little routine here.
Well,
with pencil draped on top. Is that a bit heavy for you there, Kelly?
No, it's fine.
So back to Sugarshine. The Sugarshine's got. Oh, is this? Am I seeing a little
tongue?
Is that a tongue?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Cuteness overload. I don't know if you can see this, but this is just. Oh my god! This is just amazing. This is. Oh, Bello's tongue. Does this mean Bello's in bliss?
It means she's having a good dream.
He's having a good dream.
He's having a good dream.
Oh, he's actually sleeping.
Yeah, it's asleep. Yep, sound asleep.
Okay.
You can
I can get the photo. That's great. I can actually, I can hear the breathing. Yeah, the nice gentle breathing. Wow, man, you want to be here seeing this. This is just awesome. It's about as good as it gets. We're not disturbing you, are we? I hope we're not disturbing.
No, he's sound asleep.
So at Sugarshine, these are not the only two pigs.
No, we sort of specialise in pigs. Pigs are my special interest.
Yeah.
And they're also animals that we get requests for. Pigs and roosters are the two animals that we are constantly asked to take in.
Right.
We're not able to take in any more at the moment because we're very grateful. But yeah, pigs. We get them from all different, all different areas for different reasons.
And you've got a couple of fully grown large ones there? Or?
We've got a lot of fully grown.
A lot, not just a couple.
Large ones, So they get to be absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
And and.
Do they take a lot of looking after when they're?
Well, they're not creatures that you can just. I mean, I guess no animals are, but they're not creatures you can leave in a paddock. Like they need to have a physical affection. They need to have. We call it patting and chatting. Where we sit with the pigs, and pigs love to be whispered to and told how beautiful they are. So we say, "Oh, you're a gorgeous pig," and they just love it.
I think we all do, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Sort of whispering sweet nothings, as they say.
Yeah, just nice soothing talk and lots of time patting. Yeah. And they're very curious creatures, so they need to be able to explore and have fun. And there's all sorts of different relationships, and there's a hierarchy, and so it's a fascinating.
And I guess there's different relationships. There's also some pigs that won't get on with each other, maybe. As well?
So there's a head pig or a top pig called Missy Piggins, and she rules everything. She's fantastic. So we don't argue with her then. We don't argue with Missy Piggins. She keeps everyone in line.
I like that it's a female pig that's top. That's right. That's top dog. top dog. They love being sung to as well.
Yeah, well, I'm a terrible singer, so I don't sing to them. But we did have someone recently called Leo, who was a live-in volunteer, and he played guitar and sang, and he would just have a little group of goats and pigs just come and sit all around him.
And he would serenade them, and they would just be in heaven.
Yeah.
Almost like Bello is now.
Yeah, they do.
And Julian is Julian asleep as well?
Not much else going on, so he's pretty quiet.
Yeah, he's pretty quiet. So back to what we were saying. So I don't know if we finished you. We'll go back to you, Rich.
Sure.
I've got two different angles I can go here, but so you finished your vet school, and you were vegetarian then, weren't you? Yeah.
Yep.
And then you went vegan 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah. So and one of the things I like is that you like to let your clients know, or you don't hide the fact that you're vegan with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good. You embrace it. You let them know if they have a problem with it, it's their problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you find feedback from just the general person that, oh my goodness.
We're dreaming.
Are we dreaming? Is that what, wow.
They do what puppies do, you know how puppies run in their sleep?
Wow.
Kids do the same thing.
Oh, this is amazing. Can we, we can see that on camera. Yeah, that is incredible. That's, I mean, some dogs really go quite, and definitely Julian is doing I think this will be just the observe the pigs hour. Matt says, g'day Mr. Harry, Kelly and Nelder. It should be Kelly and Rich, I think. Thank you so much for helping these beautiful babies, guys. Thank you, Matt, for watching. You're always a regular, and I really appreciate it. So how do you find your average person that comes in and if you mention them and say, oh, look, I'm vegan and that, do you get sort of a wide range of reactions to that?
But it can be polarising. I think a lot of people in the non-vegan community almost expect that would be the norm.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
It makes sense
in the
to
non-vegan
them.
community.
Yes, they kind of go, oh yeah, like I go somewhere socially and I say no, I don't want steak, thanks. I don't eat meat. I don't consume any animal products. And people are like, oh yeah, he's the vet. So people put those two things together. And it's surprising that it's not more common.
Well, that's the thing that's surprising. It's good that people put that together, but it is surprising that it's so rare that a vet is not vegan.
I agree.
But a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it is rare. I mean, you're the first one.
I think like 2 or 3%.
Oh, it'd be less than that, wouldn't it? You reckon? With your experience, you think that 2 to 3%? If that's actually pretty good. Yeah. That's actually pretty good, I think. Yeah. And Matt says also, g'day, Rich.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's right.
I'm just happy with the pig litter glass.
You're forgiven. So at the Vet Collective, you don't normally tend to piglets, do you?
No.
It's normally
it's a special day.
It's a special.
Yeah.
It's normally dogs and cats.
Yeah, mate. 99% dogs and cats.
Maybe some guinea pigs. What else would you?
Few little guinea pigs, rats.
Yeah,
the odd bird. It's hard with birds. All the little guys.
Like ones that maybe have been injured on the street or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We absolutely take wildlife and do everything we can with them. But even with pets, there are places probably better set up to deal with the little guys.
Yeah.
Like birds and things like that. It's just different
which you could
systems.
refer people.
Absolutely, and we do that. Yeah.
What about if somebody's got an injured possum or a wallaby or something like that? Yeah. I mean, would you look at it if you had to?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So and I'll give it. Generally, what we'll do with that sort of thing is get pain relief on board.
Yep. And
then assess what's going on, and often then talk to the guys down at Currumbin.
Yes, that's Currumbin Wildlife Hospital.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just because those guys are set up to do that, so they are more capable.
Yeah.
And then the vets down there are more knowledgeable with wildlife than I am. I'm more than happy to say that.
What about pet snakes? People have pet snakes, don't they?
Yeah.
You get.
Look, I've seen them, but same vibe. I do tell people, I'm happy to see it. I see a few of them. If you'd like, I'm more than happy to tell you about people who see lots of them. Yeah.
So, refer them to a specialist.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And you're behaving yourself well down there, Pencil.
Hey, Pencil.
It really is an amazing atmosphere in here tonight, because it started off with the pigs being quite
playful.
Right?
Just,
and now I'm almost like, I just want to whisper, because I'm afraid that I'm going to wake them up.
And turn the lights down.
And turn the lights down. Oh, there was a yawn. There was a Julian. Oh, the tongue's put. Oh my goodness. Oh, it really is the cutest thing. Oh my goodness. Now you have to, this is where making the connection is about. How could you possibly want to do anything nasty to a beautiful animal like this? How could anyone want to do it? The only way that people can do it, of course, is by that disconnecting, by not seeing this.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is why I embrace the opportunity to actually have the piglets on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, because, well, thank you for bringing them along, Kelly, because really the opportunity to actually have them here and for me to just connect with them like this and to see them is just fantastic, you know, really. And I think if we could get them out for more people to see, you know, it would just be like,
Yeah, look, it's a tricky thing because some people can see it as exploitative to take the animals out. I'm always trying to take them out as much as possible when they're piglets because once they get to 300 kilos, it's pretty hard to pop them in the car.
That's right, yes.
And take them to the beach. But I want them to have as many experiences as they can have.
Yes.
You know, they're really curious creatures. I want them to see the world, and they love it so much. And
which is enhancing their life.
It's an absolute joy to watch them.
And at the same time, if it's educational, if it's actually helping people to make the connection and to go vegan, wow.
You can actually see that the flick switch in people when they're talking to the piglets. Yeah. It's amazing. Yes. Like every time I just can't believe it.
Well, I watched the video with Joey when he had Julian, and you know, I was watching people's reactions, which is amazing, and now I see why, because I'm experiencing it firsthand as well.
Yeah.
You know? So if I wasn't vegan, I'd be like, oh my God, you know, I think I should change as well. It'd be hard not to. So Danny says, another great session. Thanks, Harry. And thank you, Kelly and Rich, for taking care of the animals. Thank you, Danny, for watching. Make sure you share it and all the other stuff. So we've got, because we started the show a bit later, we've got a little bit of time left tonight. So what are some things that we haven't done? Some things you might want to I'll just open it up to the floor. Some things you might want to share.
I'm just really interested to say, hearing Kel talk about people's perception of these guys being exploited for getting out and about. And we talked about it briefly before the show.
Yeah.
I think if you're in a situation where you had an adult pig that had been on a farm situation for 3 years and had seen one person for its entire life, and then you decided to take it down Campbell Mall or to Burleigh Beach, sure, that animal will probably be stressed and it might not be cool. But these guys are no different. Here you go, have three. Are no different to a puppy. You know, their brains are very, very plastic, and if we socialise them like these guys are, and you can see how relaxed they are in the presence of someone that pig's never met in its life.
You guys are the animal whisperers.
No, anyone can have this experience. They are beautiful creatures.
And you know, these guys are socialised and they find that normal.
Yeah.
So I think there's nothing exploitative about them getting out and about. And if in the process we happen to educate people about the fact that these guys the norm isn't in a steel cage waiting to serve, you know, to be on someone's plate, then this is the norm. You know, they could be in people's backyards and in people's living rooms.
I like the point you make there, Rich, that they're social and they actually thrive in an environment and it's actually enhancing them. It's the opposite of exploitation.
Yeah.
It's like the same as taking your dog for a walk or something like that, getting out in the fresh air and all the rest of it. So yeah, I can see now it's actually a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a complete opposite of you know what Joe says, Kelly the animal whisperer.
Maybe a pig whisperer, but
Ashley says you can sit a goat on that lap too.
It's happened.
A goat on top.
You're standing on top, like they do on the side of cliffs. I wonder if Julian wants to come over and sit on my lap.
Yeah, well, he's pretty wriggly and playful at the moment, so he might want to jump off. So just give it a go.
Yeah, give it a shot. Yeah, here we go. Over here. Here we go. Oh, you're warm. Oh, you're
so warm, aren't they?
You're so warm. You're actually not wanting to stay on my lap.
He wants to wriggle around and play.
You want to wriggle around, don't you? You don't really want to stay on my lap. But you are so beautiful. You're so warm, aren't you? Oh, that worked. That worked a little bit. Yeah, you might have to.
I don't think it's me.
No.
I think
it's I'm only good at looking after cats, and even my cat runs away every time I go near it. So. It's hard to get a good photo of her. She's always disappearing. Now, Brady says, we're a species that learns through experience. This is the best way for people to make the connection, in my opinion. It's positive and brings the animal to light as an individual, yes.
I guess, one of the things that, I love Bello and Julian Blue so much, but it doesn't mean that I don't think about their brothers and sisters and mothers. And you know,
Yes.
I can't do the thing that these activists do. This is something I can do to help, to say, hey, these are two out of who knows how many.
Yeah, that's the really, I was thinking of that when we were talking about that earlier. That is the really, really sad reality that, you know, they have family members that they're not going to see again because of the fact that they're in an animal agriculture situation, which they should never have been in the first place. And they've been very fortunate now to have a life removed from that, but it's just such a sad reality. And again, this is all about making the connection. And I think somebody's actually sent me a message that it looks like he's taken a still or something, or Rick's taken a still of the, I think that's what it is. I'll have to read the message later, but I'm having difficulty dealing with it. Okay, and Bella is behaving.
Bella is very, very good.
Yes. What? Oh, I can hear a point from.
Yes.
Okay.
Julian's just having the best time running around.
Julian is such a cutie when he's running around. It's just, it reminds me a little bit of, was it the TV show Green Acres or something? Yeah. Do you remember Green Acres? I mean, this is going back a long way. There's Green Acres, but yeah, it was, oh my goodness. There was a pig in that, and it was oink, 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 like that. Okay, so I want to, if anyone's got any questions regarding the pigs or regarding the exploitation of the pigs, you have the opportunity now. We have probably another 10 minutes left to go. And Angie says, thank you for helping people make the connection. Love to you guys. Yes, and again, I've just got to emphasise it again, that it's really, really sad that we have this situation where they have to be rescued from a situation that no living being should ever be put in, from an exploitive, enslaved condition, and but at least there are really brave people that are doing it, and then there are really brave people that are operating on them, and really brave people that are providing a forever home for them. So you know, it's just a wonderful. As I say, I'm looking down here because we've got the pig and the dog running around. Okay, so yeah, what about you, Rich? It's something, anything you'd like to add to what we've been chatting about tonight? I mean, with your own vegan observations. Actually, what I haven't asked you is how because you've been vegan 3 years, right? So just talking about veganism now in general, how you're seeing how it's going, any changes, or what are your sort of general thoughts on?
Yeah, sure. I guess in my world, absolutely, I'm enjoying seeing it become more prevalent and more widely accepted. You know, I guess it's more common.
It's more common, especially amazing. You've amazed me when you said earlier that people just sort of assume that because you're a vet, you'd be vegan.
Yeah,
that's actually really accepting.
Yeah, and no one's ever shocked. People know what it means. You know, whereas there were times when, well, there still are times when people don't understand that. So yeah, I find that's the understanding of it is becoming more widespread, and even the understanding of why.
Yes,
I'll talk to people
who
aren't vegan, and they'll fully understand and appreciate why I'm vegan.
Yeah.
Even though they're not.
Even though they're not.
And I appreciate that if they can understand that, then they might get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Pencil, you could sit on anything, couldn't you? On any surface. You just, how old is Pencil, by the way?
He's 7.
7?
Yep.
Wow. You got such an amazing expression in your eyes and your face, and real sort of almost like a shyness or a modesty or something, looking down with the eyes, and it's like, don't look at me, I'm just going to put my. But so have you been getting vegans coming along with their animals too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Word is slowly getting out there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we do. We see some people come in now specifically who are, well, some vegans come in specifically to see a vet who is vegan, and so we do that a fair bit, which is always fun.
We did. Rick mentions Green Acres. Yeah, now you're revealing our ages. Yes. Yeah. And Pencil is really a mini goat. Yeah. Now there's a topic. we mentioned it briefly before we went live, and I was talking, Kelly doesn't know this, but I was talking to you about the fact that I have a vegan cat. Right? Now, you're the first vet that I've mentioned that to, right? And I mentioned on Facebook that I've got a vegan cat, and it sometimes gets some pretty strong responses, right? And I'm not saying that I don't understand that. I understand that people would feel very strongly about it, but it was interesting to actually just speak to you and say, hey, I've got a vegan cat, because I was expecting you sort of also to shoot me down and go, oh, no. But it was good also to just get your feedback on the fact that there's, I think you're saying humans and dogs have 11 essential amino acids, is that right?
Yep.
And then cats have an extra 2.
That's right.
Taurine and alanine, right?
Yep.
And that's the thing that I think that trips people up when I've read comments and people going, oh no, a cat can't be vegan and all the rest. Now, I'm not saying, I want to make this straight, I'm not saying you're endorsing a vegan cat, so I'm not putting you into that position.
No, that's cool.
I'm talking about what I've been doing. But one of the things that's come up is people saying, oh no, you can't force that on them. And just for me, I've done the research through vegan cat forums and other places, and I'm aware that the vegan cat food that I use has the taurine and the, what's the other one?
Alanine.
Alanine, yes. And the interesting thing was when I was researching it, that came up was that it's synthetic in the vegan cat food, but it's also synthetic in the commercial pet food because it's washed out during production. So something like 90% of the taurine in commercial pet food is synthetic.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, so when somebody says, oh no, they've got to have taurine because it's in meat, it's like, excuse me, it's actually not. It actually got washed out in the process, and they put the synthetic one in, the same as they have in the vegan cat food. But it was interesting to get your just information that on that, you know, because I thought if I go to a regular vet who doesn't have a vegan understanding and go, oh, my cat's vegan, I expect to just get shot down in flames.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's absolutely taboo. And I think within the veterinary community, it's taboo because there is no good scientific evidence behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if you don't understand, if I'm someone who doesn't understand why you would want that, and I don't have any evidence to support your side of it, that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
I absolutely understand why you would do it.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of the arguments come through about obligate carnivores.
Yes.
And now I think that terminology probably plays true in a wild situation.
Right.
Where an animal needs to get their sustenance
from
some kind of source that's available in the wild. So I think in the wild, a cat absolutely is an obligate carnivore.
Yeah.
And what that means on a metabolic level is that compared to dogs and humans, cats get a lot of their energy or get their energy from protein source. So when we talk about
instead of carbohydrates.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So dogs and humans are very, very similar, and so we use a lot of carbohydrates for our energy. Most importantly, glucose powers our brain, and it's actually spared at times of low carbohydrate ingestion that we keep some glucose for our brain because that's pretty important.
Okay. Yeah. The
flip side is that cats use protein sources and amino acids for all of that energy-based stuff, which is why we deal with a lot of dramas with cat obesity, because you can feed a cat a high carbohydrate diet, and if you feed with low protein, they'll actually catabolize their own protein to use that for energy, and the carbs just turn into fat.
Wow.
So for me, what that means is to cut it down to facts. I think cats require a high protein diet.
Right. Okay.
I don't think that necessarily means that they are obligate carnivores in the world that we now live.
That's interesting.
So what I would like to see, and it's something, it's a big point on my to-do list, is to look further into it. And I'd love to get to the point where we can turn around and say, here's all the data.
Yes. I'd be very curious if you're able to research it further. I'm certainly curious to hear in the future what you come up with.
Yeah.
There was one thing I came up saying that apparently if you're going to have a vegan cat, you should monitor its pH level from its urine or something. I think.
Yeah, okay.
It's, I'm not sure why that would be.
Look, I mean,
okay.
The blood pH is very heavily regulated in a system.
Yeah.
and I would think a meat-based diet would be very acidic.
It would have to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't think, I'd be very surprised to see a diet shift that would actually outweigh their ability to compensate. Definitely we do see in cats other urinary tract issues.
Yes.
And
yes,
pH does come into that.
Yes.
Yes. And I wonder, potentially there might be some mineral issues because you can get crystals.
Yes, I have heard of that. Apparently, it's easier for a female cat to be vegan than a male cat. Is another thing I've come across too.
Okay, and
I'm not sure why. Do you know?
Well, male cats require more taurine, and so maybe that's the vibe.
Okay.
But
Yes.
I think along the lines that you were talking is right. If you can supplement it for one, you need to supplement more.
And the interesting thing is how much my cat loves a vegan cat.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like won't eat the wet food, but loves the dry food. Just goes crazy for it. And she's the second cat that I've cared for that's done that.
Great.
I cared for a friend's cat for a month, and that cat was just eating normal cat food up until when I took care of it. Put it straight on the vegan cat food. Bam, loved it. Just the month, just loved it, and so it's like didn't even have to worry about transitioning, you know. So so it's good to get that feedback and from somebody that knows what they're talking about, and rather than just me sort of looking on the vegan forums or whatever. But what I have found looking on the forums is stories from other. Julian.
Just had a little funny dream.
Oh wow!
Wake himself up.
Wake himself up.
I think it was good.
Oh my goodness! You are just too cute. You're too cute. It's all right, guys. We're gonna let you go soon. We're gonna let you go very soon. You'll be able to take a ride in the car again. So it's good to get that feedback. So looking at how we're going for time, we're actually looking like we're going to start winding up soon, I think, because we started a bit later tonight, but it's been a very interesting show with the pigs trying to knock the camera over at the beginning, and now they're just like, no, we've had a big day. We've had a big day. And Pencil going, hey, I need to be up here as well.
You're on.
Can we? Yeah, there we go. You just. Oh my God, we're doing the. What do you call it? Snuzzling. We're doing. You can't actually. Oh, I'm getting. It's just. I'm not. I don't know if you can see this on the live stream camera. You can't see it on the YouTube camera, but you're actually. There's a little bit of teeth happening there. It's classic. You are classic. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, well, I hope this can be seen on the live stream. I got Julian here, just won't leave me alone now. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do a wind up with this happening. But before I do, first off, I'm going to say thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much for coming along. It is awesome. And guys, get to the Vet Collective because we've got a vegan vet on the coast and the best vegan food at the other end of the street. So, and Kelly, thank you very much. I can't give you a hug, but but thank you very much for coming all this way and bringing Bello and Julian. It was just gone right into my arm. What is it with you? And this episode will be on YouTube by tomorrow night on my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch it then. And let's have a look at what we've got next week. Next week for episode 43, I have a vegan children's entertainer. I think it's the first time I've had one. Gemstone is her name. I'm sure that's her real name. But she will be joining me next week and telling us all about how she entertains children and creates awareness at the same time. So, Julian, I've got to do it. I've got to wind up. I'm going to give you.
Just let him loose. He'll turn something.
Oh, no, there you go. Yeah, he'll turn something off. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Yeah, I think I've done it all. I think I've done so. Until next time, live vegan and save lives. And I'll see you next week. Good night.